Good morning. Welcome to the morning report for Tuesday, the 24th of February. Let's get straight into how things are shaping up here in Australia. Our share market looks set for a positive start despite the negative lead from the US. Index futures are up 0.2%. Yesterday, that is Monday, the ASX 200 closed 0.61% lower to 9,026. It's a big reporting season this week, the last week of February, so there'll be plenty of reaction to that today as well. Among the companies reporting today, Woodside Energy, Scentre Group and Nine Entertainment. On the commodity markets, global oil prices eased on Monday ahead of a third round of nuclear talks between the US and Iran. The Brent crude price was down 0.1% to $71.64 a barrel. Copper futures slid 1% as inventories extended their rise and investors mulled the US tariffs. Aluminium futures dipped 0.2%. Gold prices hit a three-week high on Monday on Trump's tariff plans. To refresh your memory, he announced a 10% then a 15% global levy that could last for months after a damning US Supreme Court ruling on the legality of his tariff regime. Gold futures were up 3.4% to $5,255 an ounce. Iron ore futures, meanwhile, were down 0.1%. Let's look at currencies. The tariff news is having an impact there as well. They were generally weaker against the US dollar in European and US trade. The euro fell 0.2% to 1.1791 US. The Japanese yen dropped marginally to 154.68 Japanese yen, and the Aussie dollar fell 0.2% to 70.57 US cents. Over to Wall Street. The US markets have continued to react to the tariff ruling by the US Supreme Court on Friday and Trump's reaction over the weekend of that 15% global levy that I mentioned a moment ago. At the close of trade on Wall Street, the Dow Jones index was 1.7% lower, the S&P 500 index was down 1%, and the Nasdaq index lost 1.1%. There's a fair bit of uncertainty about what's next on the tariff front, so let's take a deeper look. The Consumer Discretionary Index led declines among the 11 major S&P sectors, with Amazon and Tesla down 2.3% and 2.9% respectively. The Information Technology Index also dropped 1.1%. Earnings from major software firms including Salesforce and Intuit, whose stocks were hurt by AI disruption fears, will be on the radar later this week. The S&P 500 Software and Services Index was down 4.3%, having slumped almost 25% so far this year. Financials dipped 3.3%, with private credit firms down the most. Helping offset some losses, the healthcare sector rose 1% as Eli Lilly advanced 4.8% after rival Novo Nordisk's obesity drug fell short against Lilly's drug in a Copenhagen trial. Nvidia climbed 0.9% ahead of quarterly earnings due on Wednesday US time. Commentary from the world's largest company by market capitalization could offer key insight about the AI sector that has been hit by growing investor skepticism. US government bond yields were less fazed by tariff uncertainty. The US 10-year Treasury yield was 5 points lower at 4.03%, while the US 2-year Treasury yield was down 4 points to 3.44%. To the European markets, European shares fell 0.4%. In London, the FTSE 100 was flat. The European share markets dipped on Monday on renewed uncertainty over US tariff policy. Healthcare shares dropped 1.4% as Danish heavyweight Novo Nordisk plunged 16.5% after the obesity trial results. Financial services lost the most, down 2.1%, while energy shares hit a record high, tracking gains in oil prices earlier in the day. The broader defence sector lost 1.6% after reports that Iran had indicated that it was prepared to make concessions on its nuclear program if the US met certain demands. So what are we watching? There are plenty of companies reporting today, as I mentioned at the top, the likes of Viva Energy and Woodside Energy, as well as City Chic, Nine Entertainment Group and Scentre Group. Later in the week, it'll be the big supermarkets that'll be reporting. Also on the radar, Donald Trump's upcoming State of the Union address. That'll be an interesting time given Trump's tariff moves and the midterm elections coming up in November. So what else is on? We'll get an update on household inflation from the Bureau of Statistics tomorrow. The data release will give an insight into spending behaviour across January. In the US, economic data for Tuesday will include home prices for December and the Richmond Fed Manufacturing Index for February. US companies due to report are Keurig Dr Pepper, Home Depot, AMC Entertainment, HP and Lucid Group. For further developments on today's local trading session, please tune in to the CommSec Market Update podcast this afternoon and, of course, the Market Close video. Have a great day.